including the NSA, as Nuhu Ribadu, before finally deciding to initiate the peace deal. And let me quote him. He said, when I asked his reason, he said our communities have been plagued by a scourge of banditry, resulting in the tragic loss of lives and abduction of our people for over a decade now, with no lasting solution in sight. I'd rather negotiate with bandits than bear the weight of a single life lost in Kaduna. If not, I will be held accountable on the day of resurrection, having promised and sworn an oath. He also stressed that the decision came after the bandits released 200 persons abducted in Giwa and Birnin Gwari local government areas of the state, expressing optimism that the deal will restore peace in the state and enable farmers to return to their farms and businesses to bounce back. That's from Governor Uba Sani, saying he will do whatever he needs to do to save his people. You agree with his status?
I don't agree. You don't. There are two ways of fighting this type of war. Right. War of kidnapping, banditry, Boko Haram. This is an asymmetrical war, and so you need the kinetic and the non-kinetic means to fight the war. What is the kinetic approach? The kinetic approach is using the military with their guns to decimate them, and they've told us severally they have been decimated, where they are resurging now, which means they are not properly decimated. That's kinetic. The non-kinetic is where government is making a terrible mistake, including Governor Sani. They thought the non-kinetic is negotiation with bandits. No, that is not it. For the Nigerian Civil War, and we agree finally on the Nigerian Civil War to end based on non-kinetic approach. And what was the non-kinetic approach then? The non-kinetic approach was that you cannot be fighting a group of people and be feeding them. So stop supplying them food. When hunger terribly dealt with them, they drop their arms. That is non-kinetic. Although
so many persons are still blaming him for hunger now.
But that happened. That's a typical example of a non-kinetic, approach.
But that was a long time ago. 1967.
I'm coming. It is still going to work. No, I'm coming from an angle. Non-kinetic is not negotiation. Non-kinetic is liaising and collaborating with the locals. The war is national, transnational, international, and local. You need to collaborate with the locals, the citizens, for them to give you intelligence, for you to use to work against the bandits. Now, if the citizens, the locals are against you, you are sure you are not going to get enough information. So part of the non-kinetic is collaborating with the locals, the traditional rulers, and the rest of them to support you and to give you enough information to fight the war. You can even win the war through non-kinetic strategies. Non-kinetic strategy is not negotiating with a group of people who are killing others with reckless abandon, and they are telling you. And so what he's doing is not non-kinetic. It is another approach entirely. An approach where you say, okay, you are negotiating with them, they are not dropping their arms. They are still with their arms, which means anytime they are angry, they can come back. Not that you didn't stop at that. Maybe you are going to settle them. You have not even made arrangements, maybe for ranch, maybe for what they are going to be doing. And so as you are withdrawing them from banditry and kidnapping, you are taking them to a particular job. He has not done that. You are only saying you are negotiating with them.
Talking about settlement, he has said, I want to assure you that not a single naira was paid to them.
That is what they say. El-Rufai settled cattle rustlers from other countries by paying them. He was forced to tell the world that he pays on. And so,
but Governor Uba Sani is saying he didn't pay.
The non-kinetic approach is not negotiating with criminals.
You don't agree with that?
No. I'm trying to explain as a teacher, as a lecturer, what non-kinetic means. Non-kinetic does not mean negotiating with criminals. It means using the locals to gather intelligence, collaborating with the locals to give you information, and let the locals support you. When they support your war, you will win the war. Because most of the things you need on the field, it is the locals that will provide it for you. That is one. Two, non-kinetic means using strategies that can decimate the criminals, not begging them. You can't beg them. This is a sovereign state, for God's sake. We can't be fighting with ramshackles, people who are calling themselves bandits, and then we are degrading our soldiers as if they are not well armed. If you have not armed your military very well, arm them properly. So non-kinetic has to do with intelligence, collaboration with the locals, and then, talking to them and negotiating with the locals to support you,
right.
and then using other strategies like the instrument of hunger, like preventing them from access, like preventing them from gaining access to arms and military ammunition, like preventing them from getting fund, supply. These are the non-kinetic. It is not negotiating with criminals. Right. That is where he is making a terrible mistake.
Doctor, what if this collaboration with locals is not working because these locals are scared? Probably that when they give out information to the government, these terrorists come back on them. I agree with you
totally that there are some of our policemen and security agents that doesn't know how to keep strategic information by leaking out secrets. That is where training comes in. They need to be trained. There is no war a military or an armed forces can win without the collaboration of the locals. The locals are the people who will tell you they are already there. Please, this is what you will do, and this is what you need. This is a member of them living in this house. They give you information, and you need to carry them along. You need to make them your friends. It is not by making them your enemies that you can win the war, because the locals mingle with them. And let me tell you this, a good number of the locals are the people called banditry. They are the people they are calling kidnappers, and they know themselves. I give you an example of a particular person, a particular woman that, the military thought is assisting them. Meanwhile, they gave him something, and he's going to give his son, who is a bandit, to eat. So you need proper collaboration to fight the non-kinetic approach. The kinetic approach will be there by decimating them, and the way they are doing in, I think in Zamfara or wherever now, they are doing well now. In some axis, particularly Borno. But the resurgence is coming back through Borno and Kaduna State. People are killed, about 42 have been killed, and about 22 soldiers have been killed. Right. And that is not acceptable.
Not at all.
It's not acceptable. But, the kinetic is there. The non-kinetic is there. It is information you need to move. When they say some bandits ambush our military, it means there was lack of adequate information to guide them. Because if you tell the locals you are going this route, at night, they may tell you that those people are already there. So you know what to do. Maybe you
if you flip it,
yeah,
if you flip it, doctor, some of the military have said again that some locals are giving them out.
Yes, some locals are giving them out because they are not patriotic enough, because they are not gaining anything from the system. Again, the part of the non-kinetic, you reminded me now, is fighting poverty. You must fight poverty to a standstill and ensure that citizens have hope. When citizens have hope, they are ready to work with you. Look at Lakurawa. You know what Lakurawa did? Lakurawa has been in Zamfara, Sokoto for more than since, I think, 2018 or 2019. You know what they did? They collaborated with the locals. They were feeding them. They were giving them money. They were even collecting taxes and sharing it with them. So the locals have no confidence in the Nigerian military and armed forces. It was when the Lakurawa decided to show their real color, and they are from most of them are from other countries, that they started crying. By that time, it was almost too late. And so that is exactly what we are saying. You need to fight poverty and unemployment. Now, devil find war for an idle hand. If you have a greater number of youths in this country that are not employed and they are not doing anything and they can't feed, how do you tell me that bandits cannot actually take them away, arm them, give them money, and promise them a future? That is what is happening.
Quickly.
So,
yeah, go ahead.
Okay, when you were talking, you said something about not getting a ranch for taking arms from these people and giving them something actually to do. Yes. Do you think rehabilitation at any point can actually do something?
Yes, even when he's taking that approach, he's supposed to have prepared first. Where are they going to? You are withdrawing them from what they are doing. That's their livelihood. Where are you taking them to? Is it ranching? Is it farming? Is it education? What do you want to train them to do something? You have not prepared that. You have not even collected their arms. You are saying you are negotiating. What's it negotiating? I'm embarrassed with what the government is saying. When negotiation took place in the South with Yaradua, you know what? They laid down their arms. They collected all the arms. They started rehabilitating them. And the banditry and the insurgency in that place went down. We give that credit to Yaradua. And let me make an important statement here this morning. The asymmetrical war of banditry, kidnapping, and insurgency and terrorism can only be won when you have a president, a commander-in-chief, who is neutral, who is determined to whip them out. That is one. Two, a commander-in-chief that is ready to actually, train and prepare his armed forces properly for these targets. Not over the years, we have military, we have presidents that are taking side, even with these bandits. We were in this place when, before the election, the Boko Haram people announced Buhari as their spokesperson. It took 2 weeks before he made a statement that he's not going to participate. But they have announced it. So I think this president, he looks a bit neutral. If politics will not carry him away, you need to remove politics from this and fight this insecurity. It starts from the appointment of your security chief. Look at the NSA. The NSA is a politician, for God's sake. That is another problem. You need a detached person, somebody who's professionally inclined and ready to fight this war.
All right.
And so, not a politician.
Two questions before we round off now. The Nuhu Uba Sani NSA you're talking about, some persons will say, okay, it might be a politician. He might have even run for, yes, he did run for office at some point. But when we say it doesn't take away his experience as a, as a security person. But two questions for me now before we take it on. The governor, Uba Sani, said it was his people that told him to go that route. And that he even named him that the emir of Biringwari, that's one area. And that's one area that has been infested. When you talk about Biringwari, Chikun, Kagauko, Giwa, Kajuru, especially the southern Kaduna that have been heavily, attacked by the military. By these bandits and criminals. That he said is the king that came to me, the people, to say, please help us. Whatever you have to do, even if it's to reason with them, do that. And he said he sought the advice of the NSA on that. So why are we blaming Governor Sani?
No. I'm blaming him for not going through a very reasonable strategy. You want
the NSA is aware.
You want to negotiate with them, Abi?
That's what he's doing.
Fine. If you are negotiating with, where are you taking them to? Are you collecting their arms?
Just telling them to stand up.
No. That is not sufficient. If they're angry tomorrow, they come back. And so you need strategic plan. Where am I taking them to? What will they do after this place?
All right.
Will they drop their arms? And two, I've told you, that is not to say that your kinetic approach will stop. Your kinetic approach will be going on simultaneously. For the bandits to realize that they are being weakened. And when they know they are being weakened, you will stand at a very good position, a proactive position, to actually neutralize them and make them beg and agree on your terms.
All right. If you check the material we're scrolling on your screen, you will see the picture of Aminu Bello Masari. You can see the picture here where he took the same route, the same thing.
Did it work?
And then
I'm asking you, did it work? It didn't work because shortly after this, there was an attack.
I'm coming, Doctor.
A very serious one.
You could see him taking the picture with this bandit. And one of the bandits, if you can have that picture, one of the bandits was even carrying Kalashnikov in that picture. You see, it was a day of pomp and pageantry, which everybody was happy. At the end of the day, Aminu Bello Masari, before he left, said he was deceived because he went on that route twice. He said this bandit took oath with Quran 2 times and it didn't work. So Nigerians will say, Aminu Bello Masari has tried it. He's a veteran. He's a politician. He was a governor for 8 years. It didn't work.
Good.
But some will say, what didn't work in Katsina might work in Kaduna.
They took oath.
And they are neighbors, by the way.
They took
Katsina
oath.
is a neighbor.
They took oath.
Yeah.
Our leaders take oath with the Bible and the Quran. Does it work? Don't they steal? These people are deceiving them. What I'm saying is, if you want to disengage somebody from what he is doing, you have to engage him in another way. Through training, through interaction, through collaboration. Where are you taking them to? You have not done that. You have to agree with them. You will lay down your arms. He said in that interview that they are not laying down their arms. They just want to agree. How can you just agree like that? Where are you taking them to? And then what are you going to do?
He said he saw a commitment that 200 persons that were kidnapped by
they can do that.
They have been released.
They have been released.
So maybe that showed him that those guys are committed.
They have been released because of the discussion you are having. And after a week, If nothing is forthcoming, they can go back.
So, doctor, you don't think this will work?
It can only work when you are doing the kinetic and the non-kinetic.
I understand the approach. This approach that has been explained by Governor Sani
now. The approach of Dr. Sani cannot work because it's not going with the kinetic strategy. And it's not doing the non-kinetic.
It doesn't control the kinetic.
God, it's a state government. No, he has to tell the military. He said NSA was there now.
Yeah.
And so that's what the problem. It has to be simultaneous.
All right.
You have to make sure that as you are disengaging them, you are engaging them. Look, their leader can be engaged. And once you engage their leader in a productive effort and is happy, you can be sure he may not go back.
Doctor,
I'm coming.
Does these people have a leader?
I'm coming. They have. Maybe we are saying touch.
No, I'm just saying. It has been established that these guys operate from different firms and they have different cells.
And we are seeing Toji.
And I'm not sure they have an association.
And you are seeing Toji, what is happening. If you empower them, they are not likely, 70% of them may not go back. But if you don't empower them, they will go back. Do you know what caused the war in Russia and Ukraine? It's because the European Union decided that they want to entice Ukraine with so many facilities. And then, instead of the Ukraine president to ask his closest neighbor, these are the things they have given us. How many of these can you provide for us? He didn't. He went to them, hook, line, and sinker. That's what caused the war. Now, if he has negotiated with Russia and said, look, they have given us 10 items. If Russia said, don't worry, as my neighbor, I don't want to.
That's about sovereignty of a state. Right?
I will give you 6 of it. He's not likely to go to that place. So when you engage bandits, and then you disengage them from what they are doing, and then you can empower them, and then engage them properly, they may not go to where they are going. But again, the kinetic effort must be seen as weakening them for them to submit. That is the truth. And that is what the military did in the South. They weakened those insurgents to an extent that they were ready to submit their arms and agree.
But the contexts are different. What happened in the South at the Niger Delta is not the same thing that is happening here.
It is the same strategy.
Doctor, the guys, the agitation in the South, they were not taking arms against their own people.
Okay.
They were,
Okay, why are these people
they were only kidnapping all workers and
why are these people taking arms against their own people?
That's the problem.
Why? That is the strategy you need to actually find out. Why are they taking arms against their people?
All right.
What is the solution to that? In your negotiation with them, you will find out that and solve that particular problem first before you can do anything.
All right. Fair enough. And, it's an ongoing conversation.
Yeah, it is. Right. We have lots of questions, but we are out of time, actually, continue with this discussion and conversation.
Governor Uba Sani, as the Chief Executive Officer and, of course, the Chief Security Security Officer of his state, has said he will do whatever his people said he would do. But that people will say we have a history, an antecedent for a reason. Check if actually this will work. But he's appearing like he's helpless, is what his people say he should do, that he will do. We wish him, all the governors in Nigeria, everybody, in fact, every Nigerian, all the best. And every effort geared towards having a peaceful and a safe nation would be encouraged. And that's why we're having this conversation today. No bandits from anywhere should overrun a state like Nigeria. Thank you, Doctor.
It's a brave state for that matter.
Yes.
And that leads me to look at what is happening in Lagos. The problem is lack of motivation.
We have to go.
The House of Assembly they disagree with their man.
That's another another conversation. Dr. Oluyemi Omotosho is a public affairs analyst. Thank you for your time and your take, sir.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure being here.
We appreciate you very much, sir, for being here. And as usual, we'll see you tomorrow where we give you talks that concern us. I'm sure you're always having information up to speed and up to date with us. So keep a date with us every day, all through the week, Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. I remain Uzom Sokechukwu. So have a lovely day.
100%. We'll be back for the midweek edition tomorrow. Please do check our Facebook, Instagram, and X handle and pages, for exciting content of this program and more. Especially our YouTube channel at Western Spring TV. You have the address scrolling on your screen already. Femi Ojo is my name. God bless Nigeria. Nigeria will triumph. Bye.